Hi, I'm David Robinson Morris, class of 2006. I am the founder and chief Reimaginelutionary at the Reimaginelution, a small consulting firm helping people to re-engage and catalyze their imaginations. 20 years ago, I was a student. I was entering into my senior year here at Loyola, and I was an orientation leader. When Hurricane Katrina made landfall, my first thought was, oh shit, we knew hurricanes, but this one felt different. The storm came in, hit landfall, it passed, we breathed a sigh of relief, and then shortly after, the levees broke and the flooding began. I stayed in Galveston, where I evacuated to and took classes online, and tried to keep up with my friends who were scattered across the country. I was reminiscing with a friend and sort of remembering what was going on at that time, and I remember driving into the city in January of 2006, and everything was brown. There were no birds chirping. It was the darkest I've ever seen the city. You could actually see the stars at night because there were no lights. And the eeriness of a completely silent, dark New Orleans is what I remember the most of that time. We came back here to a city that was completely devastated. Katrina, unfortunately, was a hurricane, yes, but it was no accident. If we were a different city, we'd be in a different place 20 years later. And so we have to be very mindful of the impacts of class and socioeconomic status and race and history on the lingering impacts and effects of this hurricane, and as we used to say in the city, and man-made disaster. Because again, the hurricane passed. It was the break of the levees that caused this massive destruction here in the city. You know, Loyola and New Orleans, they get in the blood and they become part of you. There was no question on whether or not I was coming back to finish my senior year of college, right? I often tell folks that I'm from Texas, but New Orleans is one of those places that calls you to it. I have friends and colleagues who've all moved away, and they said, we don't understand how you continue to stay there. And my response to them is that New Orleans is a magical city, and you only understand it if you have magic in you. I learned in a real way that the Jesuit ideals, the charisms of a Jesuit education, what you learn here at Loyola is useful in the world, right? We often think, why are we learning this? But the curriculum is more than just what you get in the classroom. It's your involvement in student activities. It's your engagement with faculty and staff. It's your engagement with your friends on campus that are from different countries and backgrounds than you. Those things serve you well in life. I think, for me, if there was sort of a grand arc to the story, it would be that Katrina, in some ways, has forced us as a city and as a people to really look at ourselves and to name and envision who we want to be for future generations. It's an ongoing story. 20 years later, we still have people who are not back. We still have neighborhoods that have not come back. We still have inequity. We have city services that we don't even talk about it. But we have looked very deeply at ourselves. Now, the question at year 20 is, what are we going to really do about it, right? We put Band-Aids on things, but have we gotten to the root causes of problems, and are we working to envision and imagine generative solutions that are sustainable? Katrina was a seminal moment for the city of New Orleans and the people who inhabit this city. The impact and effect of Katrina is long-lasting. It remains, it lingers. And 20 years from now, which would be the 40th anniversary of Katrina, I hope that we are talking about how we bounce back, how we are stronger, better, wiser than we were 20 years ago. What I would say to students or the Loyola community 20 years from now is that Loyola does what Loyola always does. It quietly jumps into the fight. It quietly discerns where it can do its most good, its highest good. It pushes us toward excellence. One of my favorite quotes is that mediocrity has no place in Ignatius's worldview. That would sum it up for me, right? That we are called as members of this community to excellence with a purpose.